Welcome back to Lawyer Stories. I'm your host, Mark, and today we're delving into a case that highlights the complex interplay of consumer law, elder protection, and contractual capacity. It's a situation many families might encounter, underscoring the critical need for proactive legal planning. This particular scenario came to us recently through a California law firm, one of our long-standing clients. They sought our strategic advice on navigating what quickly escalated from a simple financial concern into a potential case of elder exploitation. The core of the matter involved Mrs. Davies, a 75-year-old woman in California with moderate to severe dementia. Despite not driving for some time, her family had taken her keys, she walked into a local car dealership and purchased a brand new $80,000 vehicle. What followed was deeply concerning. After leaving, Mrs. Davies drove 4 hours in the opposite direction of her home. Her erratic driving led to her being stopped by law enforcement, who, observing her disoriented state, confiscated her driver's license. Arrangements were made for her safe return home. Her family was distraught. Mrs. Davies had no prior desire for a luxury vehicle and typically didn't drive. This costly purchase was a shock. Coincidentally, her children were in advanced stages of securing a power of attorney and trust for her, having just accepted her severe cognitive decline. This incident occurred just days before those protective measures would be implemented. The family's immediate concern was how to unwind this costly purchase, fearing they might be forced to sell the car back at a significant loss. This is precisely where our expertise was requested by the referring law firm. Our initial assessment focused on fundamental contract principles. For a valid contract, all parties must possess mental capacity to understand its terms. California law provides robust protections for individuals lacking this capacity, especially with diminished mental faculties due to dementia. The primary legal avenue explored was contractual rescission, which voids the contract, returning parties to their original positions. To argue this, we needed to demonstrate Mrs. Davies lacked mental capacity when signing the agreement. Her diagnosis of moderate to severe dementia was a strong starting point. Her erratic driving post-purchase and walking to the dealership strongly supported her not being of sound mind during the transaction. Beyond contractual capacity, California has strong elder financial abuse laws. Exploiting an at-risk adult like Mrs. Davies can be a felony. This elevates the situation beyond a contract dispute, adding criminal implications for the dealership. This increases leverage in negotiations. Adult Protective Services (APS) handles elder exploitation, and a report to county APS would be a powerful step. APS involvement has led to substantial damages against dealerships in similar cases. Immediate priorities included formally engaging legal counsel specializing in elder law and consumer protection, contacting Adult Protective Services to report potential financial elder abuse was also paramount, triggering an official investigation. Practical protective measures were essential, freezing Mrs. Davies' credit to prevent further unauthorized transactions. Her children had already secured the new car keys, preventing dangerous driving and preserving the vehicle's condition. It's important to note, California generally lacks a 3-day right to cancel for new vehicle purchases or those above a certain value. Such provisions usually require separate agreements, typically for used cars under $40,000. Therefore, attempting to return the car without legal backing was unlikely to succeed. This reality underscored why immediate strategic legal action was necessary, rather than relying on a non-existent cooling-off period. To build a robust case for rescission and potential elder abuse comprehensive evidence collection was paramount. The police interaction provided undeniable third-party assessment of Mrs. Davies's mental state shortly after purchase. Our advice was to demand all police records, 911 calls, body cam/dash cam footage, the incident report, and police station video. Officers identifying her disorientation and revoking her license implies outwardly observable cognitive impairment. Next, we focused on the transaction itself. We advised sending a formal letter to the dealership demanding preservation of all evidence related to Mrs. Davies's visit and purchase, including video surveillance from showrooms and offices. This footage could reveal her demeanor, confusion, difficulty with paperwork, or salesperson tactics. We also requested sales records, internal notes, and audio recordings, as her lucidity on these could indicate her mental state. Medical evidence forms the bedrock of any capacity argument. Our client was instructed to gather all relevant medical documentation detailing Mrs. Davies's dementia diagnosis and progression. Physician testimony regarding her cognitive impairments would be crucial. Affidavits from family members describing her daily struggles, baseline cognitive function, and efforts to secure her protection would also be vital. Their accounts underscore the opportunistic nature of the sale. The dealership's likely defense, Mrs. Davies appeared competent. They aren't medical professionals and cannot discriminate. However, this weakens with strong evidence of overt disorientation immediately post-sale. While individuals with cognitive challenges may exhibit fluctuating abilities, the extended duration of a car purchase and the significance of post-sale events make such a claim difficult to substantiate. A salesperson has a professional responsibility to recognize obvious impairment. The fact she walked to the dealership indicating she didn't drive should have been a red flag to any attentive salesperson. This highlights a critical need to demonstrate the dealership knew or should have known about her diminished capacity. Her difficulty with concepts, confusion during internal records or inability to articulate why she was buying exploitation, like aggressive upselling, could be compelling. The strategic demand for internal records and video footage is crucial to prove exploitation, to the dealership's like general manager and owner. The detailed Mrs. Davies's medical condition, formal deal circumstances, a letter to the dealership's general manager and contractual capacity. Detailed Mrs. Davies's medical condition, state intent to rescind the police intervention due to incapacity of contractual financial abuse. This letter would explicitly state vehicle return without the contract due to also demanded preservation of financial abuse, signaling intent to litigate and vehicle return without fees. Dictate next steps. It also demanded preservation of all evidence, signaling intent to litigate. Publicity. The dealership's response often unwind such deals quietly, faced with a lawsuit reputation. APS investigation and potential damages often outweigh a single problematic sales profit to protect their reputation. Similar cases resolved with dealerships buying potential damages sometimes outweigh a single problematic sales profit. Have even compelled similar cases resolved with dealerships buying back vehicles. Escalation sometimes involves filing a lawsuit for corporate offices have even compelled resolutions. Fraud, should the dealership refuse, and elder financial abuse involves filing a lawsuit for APS investigation based on complaining to the California Attorney General would apply additional financial abuse. The AG's office can investigate APS investigation and complaining to the California Attorney General would apply additional pressure. The AG's office can investigate and act against establishing a conservatorship, a critical long-term aspect for the family, is finalizing the power of attorney, formally declares an individual conservatorship for long-term protection. A conservator to manage affairs. granted
This
by a
framework
court
provides
formally
legal
declares
authority
an
to void
individual
future
incapacitated
contracts and
assigns a
appropriate
conservator
care.
to manage
The car
affairs.
purchase,
While
this
damaging,
framework provides
served as an
legal
urgent
authority to
reminder
void
of the
future
need for these
contracts
protective
and ensure
measures.
appropriate care.
Ultimately, the
car
goal is to
purchase,
recover
while damaging,
$80,000
served as
for
an
Mrs.
urgent
Davis's
reminder
estate
of the need
and
for these
ensure her
protective
safety.
measures.
Ultimately,
Based on strong
the goal
evidence
is to
of
recover
dementia,
$80,000
observable
for Mrs.
disorientation
Davis's
post-sale,
estate
and
and ensure
robust
her
elder
safety.
protection laws in California,
Based on strong
successfully
evidence of
unwinding
dementia,
this deal
observable
is highly
disorientation
likely.
post-sale
This case
and
illustrates
robust
elderly
elder
vulnerability.
protection laws in
It
California.
highlights the imperative
Successfully
for families
unwinding this
to
deal
implement
is highly
legal
likely.
safeguards
This
proactively
case illustrates
and reminds
elderly
businesses
vulnerability.
of their ethical
It
and
highlights
legal
the
obligations
imperative for
when
families
dealing with
to
customers
implement
who may
legal
present with
safeguards
visible
proactively
signs of
and
diminished
reminds
capacity.
businesses of their ethical and legal obligations when dealing with customers who may present with visible signs of diminished capacity.